Welcome to Calm Your Crazy. Tonight's podcast, we are going to talk about love and romance and the answer to loneliness. My former best friend would go from relationship to relationship, and she would have some time in the middle there where she was, for a lack of a better term, like the village bicycle. And it's not about judgment, not then and not now. Everyone is on their journey, and we are each contributing to the simulation to make one big experience that we can interact with. And so there's no judgment. There wasn't ever any judgment. I don't have judgment. People are allowed to do what they want to do, and it's just about having an experience where you can find yourself. But anyway, she would ask me, why do I end up with men that treat me badly? And I would tell her all the time, in order to find somebody that is worth your salt, you have to be somebody that is worth your salt. Meaning, I would tell her, you need to own your power. And you need to be this goddess that everyone sees you as, that I see you as. And then you'll attract a man that is going to mirror that and treat you like one. And it was hard for her because of her childhood trauma and her wounds. And those wounds were the ones that were attracting men that would continue the wounding. And therefore, it would be confirming what she felt about herself. So reality reflects you because you're the one creating everything. And when you're wounded, you are creating a wounded reality. And I created a wounded reality for myself as well. I am no exception. Well, that's how I know this stuff. That's how I talk about it. This keeps happening until you understand what is happening. And it'll keep happening until you choose you and your power always, unconditionally, delusionally. Choose to be in love with all of yourself. And that doesn't mean that's what you're going to feel every day. It means you have other thoughts and feelings, but you always end up coming back to loving yourself. And when you do this, reality starts to reflect you because you feel good about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, that is the foundation for everything that you want to create. Science calls it, changing your perception. Hippies will call it putting on your rose-colored glasses. Well, that's what happens. That's the way that you start seeing things. And this is when you start attracting more love to yourself because you love yourself. You shift to a reality where people are loving, kind, and you can even think of it as shifting to a different timeline because all the possibilities exist in the quantum unified field. And you are the observer. You are your consciousness, and you are the one that creates it. So you still have to do other things, though, not just love yourself. Because loving yourself gives you that foundation. It gives you all the energy. But that's the unseen part. And here's the thing about life and nature. You have to have both the physical and the unphysical, or the energy and then the physical body. Everything, if you look at everything, it's black and white and polarity, positive and negative, up and down, left and right, X and Y. So you have to take the physical action along with the non-physical action of loving yourself. And action can challenge your nervous system. Remember, our nervous system is our brain, our spinal cord, and our nerves, the vagus nerve being the longest one. And so that is going to pull from your subconscious programming, and it's going to feel uncomfortable, and you're going to have to take action every day anyway. It's not going to feel comfortable to tell yourself you love yourself if you come from a history of trauma and you haven't felt good enough. It's not going to feel right because your nervous system believes in the safety of not feeling good about yourself, and feeling good about yourself and loving yourself feels different. So it's going to challenge your nervous system. And when you do things that you want to do, that's also going to challenge your nervous system. You're not going to feel like it feels good all the time. You're not going to feel like, oh, I should prioritize that. Like, I didn't prioritize myself for the longest time. I was the caregiver for everyone. So it doesn't feel comfortable for me to always do things and choose myself first. And that's challenging my nervous system. But it's something that I still have to go through and walk through and deal with every day. And I do it because the person that I am and the person that you are, we all deserve what we wanted when we were children, and that got taken away from us with trauma. So that part still wants to express itself. It still wants to be out there doing things. And whenever you honor that, you are loving yourself. You are giving back to yourself. And it's when you're on the road doing these things and taking action that you meet somebody. And when you keep going and going, your nervous system strengthens. Your intrusive thoughts and your old subconscious programming gets rewritten, because as it comes up and you continue to take steps, you're proving to yourself, I love myself anyway. You're proving to your nervous system that you can do it, which sends signals to your brain, and your brain says, oh, I can do it. So you continue to reprogram, and then you're going to meet somebody as you are on that road. Because the only thing that you can possibly attract is a person who mirrors you, because that's what reality brings you. And the person who mirrors you is going to love themselves just as much as you love yourself. And then you can grow together and you fit each other. And they become that other part of you that reflects your love right back to you. So how do you start taking action? So you try all the things that you ever wanted to do without waiting, and you just go for it. And I realize that that can be hard whenever you do not have funds and whenever you are depressed and you don't feel a whole lot of things. So you're going to have to try things that are free and make plans and organize yourself around doing whatever it takes to get you on the road to something that is actually what you want to be doing. So a lot of people will say, I'm trying to figure it out. I want to do this trip and I don't have the money for it. And I'm trying to find different ways to make money so that I can get it, but I don't have time and I work a full-time job. And all those things that I'm hearing when I see that is physical things. The only way this person that was talking like this felt like they could get the money for their trip was if they traditionally did it with working and saving the money. Well, everything is possible in the quantum, and when you're thinking of things like that, you are boxing yourself in. So you have to just keep thinking of yourself on the trip, believing that you're worthy of the trip, imagining what it feels like to be on the trip, and then start taking action by looking around and seeing what other ways can this trip happen. And just start going by faith, because that's where the unseen part of you, your higher self or your higher consciousness, is going to start working for you. But you've got to get away from that belief that the only way that you can do this is the traditional way. You have to open it up for every possibility, and that's why they call it faith. You have to trust yourself and trust in you and trust in your higher self, and believe that when you self-love and you have all these things coming up for you, that you are going to make it happen anyway. That you're going to get through it, and you trust yourself and everything happens on the road, and keep believing no matter what. Because that's how it works. Everything's in the quantum. Everything is an electromagnetic wave until you decide this is what you want. And then it collapses into your reality, reflecting your inner state. So you can find even romance. And this is what I want to say about finding romance, is that everything is a choice. So it's a choice whether it's romance and it's temporary, or it's a choice whenever you decide you want to settle down with somebody. It's always your choice. So whenever you choose that, that's when it's going to happen. And if you focus on you and just experiencing and loving yourself and having that joy, and you're not even thinking about finding that love, that's when it happens. Because you've stopped resisting. You've stopped putting limitations on how it's supposed to happen. Same thing with the trip if you wanted to take it. You stop putting limitations, you stop resisting, because whenever you think of love and you think of having it and wanting it, you're creating so much energy of want that it's going to compete with actually getting it. You're just going to reflect a reality that shows you more of what you want and not actually receiving it. So you have to stop thinking about it. You have to start just thinking about yourself and the experience and loving and being grateful for what you have in your life, and then it will come, because that resistance and that energy is not there anymore. So back to choice. There's not a single love, and this is just my opinion. Everybody, this is a game. There's no wrong way to play. You can have your own experience, but in my experience, there's not a single love, not from what I've seen. It's all about choice, and then when you decide to choose the forever one, that's when it happens. It's not predestination, it's choice. It's when you're ready. If you notice, most people actually feel ready to settle down before it happens, because that readiness to settle down is a choice. And you move into that reality where your choice creates the forever love that you decided to spend the rest of this eternity with. Their soul is a piece of yours because you put it there. This is also the cure to loneliness, because when you decide that your experiences and the way that you feel about yourself is more important than anything, then you don't even have to just love one person or have one forever person. You can love everyone you meet every day in a small way. You can hold space, you can lift up, you can laugh, and you can cry, you can listen. And you can be kind to everyone, everywhere, and just give love no matter where you go. And you can do this all while experiencing everything you physically want to do in this life. I never thought that I would have love whenever I was younger. I had 2 partners. And even, as difficult as a childhood as I had, I wanted love, but I just didn't believe in it anymore. And I accepted that. And I decided that I would love everyone and love myself enough, and I would never be lonely or run out of love or people to share that with. Because when you're open and you love like that, reality reflects that to you, right? And I still have so much that I want to do and experience and focus on, that giving that micro love I see to everyone, and that's love for me. That's going to be my life, right? And that means that I always get and receive love from everyone. And I save my monogamy for me. And that's not for everyone. That's just for me. But anyway, the journey of this kind of self-love will help you meet people on the way. And they're going to reflect the frequency of love that you're carrying and that state of love that you have for yourself. No matter what happens, they're going to reflect you. And you can use it to understand yourself more. So like if you choose to enter a relationship and you're on the way to your growth and self-love journey, and if it doesn't work out, that's a good thing. It helps you understand what you want and what you don't want. And it helps you learn yourself, and your journey is back to you and back to your heart. So if it doesn't work out, hug them and wish them love on their journey. And you're not sad, because you caress that pain with gratitude and understanding that you just found another piece of you. But always remember, when you're on your journey and you pick people to have a relationship with, that in nature, the males are the ones that have the colors and that are beautiful, because their job is to attract the female. And the females always make the choice. And it's the matriarchy that leaves most of the animal kingdom species. And the females are the creators of life. And the flower doesn't go to the bee. The bee goes to the flower, and the flower has the nectar and the pollen, and it synthesizes the sun. So that's not to say that there's any difference between, or that there's something wrong with going after something you want or whatever, but it means that when you choose yourself, that's when you start attracting. And that you as a woman, if you're listening, are worthy of so much, and that in your nature, you are supposed to just be yourself. And then that's when the love comes in. So that was tonight's episode. And to recap, to have love, romance, and not be lonely, choose yourself. Become the version of you that you want to attract. Take action knowing that the choice to love and be loved is always with you. That's all I've got for tonight. It was a short one, but I really am passionate about self-love. It's like foundation to everything that you want to happen or have happen. And the feeling is so good. And if you want to keep feeling that feeling, you just keep loving yourself more and more. Despite the thoughts that come up, despite the feelings, despite the emotions, you just keep walking forward and loving yourself more and more and more each day. And I think that this is hard for some people. I think that some people really have difficulty with this because they're like, yeah, I love myself. Well, if you love yourself, why are you doing all these other things that you don't want to do? Well, because society says we have to, or, because we have to pay rent and we have to do this, we have to do that. Don't ever box yourself in. I mean, this reality is full of possibility and magic exists. It's the quantum and anything can happen. That's when the synchronicity happens. That's when all of it happens. When you start believing in it and when you start believing in yourself. And I take it a step further because I know that it's you that's creating it, because you are consciousness and consciousness is everything. So the more that you believe that, the more that you believe and take your power back, the more that you believe you're going to be able to do the things that you want to do, be the person that you want to be, the person that you are inside. And then that's how you start attracting the love that you want to have, because it's the love that you have for yourself. So something that I tell people to do is the avatar exercise. And I start with a white room, because the white room is the room that you imagine that's all white, and you create whatever room you want to create in it. A library. I usually tell people start with a bedroom, but it's to help you visualize this next step, which is the avatar. And then the avatar is visualizing the you that you want to be. And it's not somebody separate from you. It's the you that is underneath the masking and the subconscious programming. And you imagine everything that you want about yourself. You can have whatever hair color you want, eye color, physical attributes, and then you assign yourself emotional attributes and personality traits that you want to have. Those are all who you really are. And so you take the time to practice visualization, building your room, and then you start practicing visualizing who you are in that avatar. And then you start taking action to show up like that person. The person in the avatar that you want to be. And you can record your attributes on a voice memo and then play them back to you in your own voice, and listen to that in the morning and listen to that in the evening, because your brain is more susceptible right before bed and right when you first get up because of the brainwave states. So when you say it in your own frequency, that also vibrates with your brain and your body listens. And it's like reprogramming your subconscious programming to who you want to be. And it really helps with your nervous system state when you start taking action and doing the things and start being the person that you made up in your avatar exercise. So for me, it was always safer to wear, black and white colors and dress down my makeup. And what I really wanted was to be everything and everyone. And wear the wigs, wear the hair color, have the dreadlocks if I wanted them, just to experience it, because I'm one of those people that wants to experience everything. And dressing sexy, putting on the wigs, putting on the makeup, and going out and being myself anyway, even though it's uncomfortable, is empowering, but the uncomfortableness is hard. So listening to my avatar exercise was when I record it and say, I am this, I am that, I am this, I have this, I act like this. And you record all your attributes and your features and everything else, and you listen to that in the morning and in the evening. That's what I've done, and it's helped immensely to just love and accept myself no matter what. And I'll tell you what, the things that I've noticed that are coming up for me are things that I never got to experience and I wanted to experience, or things that I saw that I wanted to experience in my journey. Because you have subconscious programming, which I call as a set of ingredients. And you want more ingredients. And you want to experience the ingredients that you have. And you want to do all these things. So the more that you take action and the more that you love yourself, the more ingredients you're getting, which means you have more things for your subconscious programming to pull from when it creates reality, even in the physical. So I purposely buy wild clothes so that I can challenge my nervous system, and I try to pick stuff that I feel like I would like. And I have to really purposely shift away from just wearing white and black, because that's the safety. That's what I'm used to. That's what I like. And there's nothing wrong with being safe. There's nothing wrong with choosing safety all the time. There's no wrong way to play. But for me, I want to experience so many things. And I want to experience all the things that I wanted to see and feel and express when I was younger. And that doesn't include my safety. So in order to honor and love myself, I have to step outside of my comfort zone like you wouldn't believe. And that's okay. It challenges my nervous system, but it also makes me feel thrilled at the same time. And when you come from trauma, and when you come from like a depressive state or any kind of situation where you've had to suppress, it can be really difficult to choose yourself. But you have to continuously do it, and it's hard. And it can make you feel like it's in danger, or you're in danger, but you're not. It can make you challenge these images that you had of yourself growing up and replacing those with positive images and positive things. And it absolutely can be done. And if you don't believe it, then you can look up stories of people that have overcome. Because everybody that's famous has overcome something. Tina Turner was abused by her partner. Her mother was horrible to her. And she said for every negative thought, she would have 7 positive ones to replace it. And she would say 7 positive things to herself. And she went on to have an amazing career. When she left her partner, all she asked the judge for was her name. And then she continued to make music, and she continued to go on. And that can feel really hard and impossible for people that have a really challenging early start in life. But you can overcome it. And the more that you see evidence of people overcoming it, and the more that you walk in the path of the things that honor yourself, and the more that you step into your avatar and you listen to your voice, the more that reality starts to reflect everything that you want. And the synchronicity happens, and the faith happens, and the trust happens. So I can't express enough that if you want love, if you want happiness, if you want to stop being lonely, you have to come home to yourself first, because you're the one that's creating everything. And when you fix all of that within inside you, that's when your outer world starts to change. I mean, you will see a literal difference in your reality. A literal difference, like you won't even believe it. The sun will be brighter, the colors will be more vibrant, and that's just the start of it. You'll have the synchronicity. You're going to be meeting people because you're in a completely different timeline and a completely different reality. You're no longer in your depressive one. That's a frequency. Sadness, grief, all that is a frequency that you move through, and you move through in your body, and then you go back up to your frequency, your higher frequencies. Emotions are just meant to move through us so that we can experience them and feel them, because we come down here to have those emotions, to experience those things. Why do you think it's so hard for people who can't feel, who have trauma, and then their nervous system states get frozen and they can't feel? Your spirit doesn't want to be here anymore because it can't feel anything. And that's what it came down here to do, is to feel, to create, to take action. And when you don't do that, it perpetuates depression, perpetuates all of those things that you don't want. And that's why people end up taking their lives, because it's too much and it's not enough. I know there's a lot of different reasons for it, and I don't judge. Honestly, this is probably gonna not float so well for people, but the reason that it was made into a sin was of slavery. Because how do you want to live every single day being whipped? How do you want to live every single day being forced to work until you're bleeding, without any food, without any water, day after day after day? That is no way to live. And that's what the slaves experienced. And I'm not talking American slavery. I am talking thousands and thousands of years of slavery. So if their slaves didn't stay in this life, they had no one to build their things, grow their crops, feed them. So they made it a sin, so that people were too scared to do it, and then they could continue to have their slavery. And this is not a popular opinion. This is not a popular point of view. And that is because the ones who live have to survive without the idea of that person. But it's like my sister. She has autism, 3 kids. Her husband also had some deficits, and he would stay home, use all their money for cigarettes and video games, and they would have hardly anything to eat. And my family would ostracize them and judge them, but nobody wanted to replace the love that she felt. Nobody wanted to spend time with her. So a lot of people judge, and they don't want you to do anything, and they will put you in a holding. And it's never happened to me, but my cousins experience this quite a bit. But nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Nobody wants to hurt. So they keep that person alive because it's more convenient for them. And this is not every situation. This is a specific. If somebody is continually sad and they have done everything and they can't move out of it, and that's their decision, it needs to be honored. I mean, we do more for our pets than we do for our fellow men. And when you put somebody in a situation where they have no choice, it's wrong. And most of the time it's because the person doesn't want to live without them. And I get it. It's hard. And I also get that things can change. But if everything's been tried and that person still can't come out of it and that's their choice, then I honor that. I honor every single choice that anybody wants to make. And I try not to judge it and love no matter what. And I can see where both sides don't want to live without that person, and that person doesn't want to keep living in pain. So I kind of got off topic there. But anyway, love yourself. Continue to do the things that light you up if you can. And keep going. The world is your oyster. You just have to believe, and you have to feel it. We come down here to feel, right? So if you feel it in your bones and you start taking your action, you will get there. You will absolutely get there, and it's going to be amazing for you. So I hope you had a good week. We are going on vacation for a little bit, and I will see you next time. Good night.